You talk about a great bill at the Hyatt Regency O'Hare in Chicago right now. Frankie, Laine, and Patty Page. Headline now through Saturday. Frankie, how are you?
I'm fine, Ken. How are you?
Real good, and it's a pleasure to talk with you again.
Good. Glad to hear from you.
You're back home, really, aren't you?
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
You were born in Chicago, and I guess you started your singing career when you were about, 15?
Yeah, just about.
Singing at, you were at Laine Technical High School then, and started singing professionally. And it's been a very successful career for you so far. What do you want to do when you grow up?
I don't know, really. I'm just going to keep on doing what I'm doing.
You really hold 14 gold records?
19 now.
19?
Yeah.
Good heavens.
We're working on the 20th.
Do you ever get tired of hearing about everybody talking about what a great success you were, how you worked your way into...
Never.
Never get tired of that?
Never.
Uh-huh.
It's balm to my ears.
Well, people start thinking about...
ALM, by the way.
Oh, I see. People start mentioning some of the songs that you recorded, and the list is endless, really. You did win a dance marathon, though, too, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, that was 1932, a long time ago. Atlantic City.
A lot of people don't know that, but how long did you dance, Frankie?
145 days.
Oh, God. That had to be tiring, didn't it?
Yes.
Why did you do that kind of thing? How did you get involved in it?
I was in the middle of the Depression, and work was scarce, and people were starving, bread lines, welfare, and it was a way of getting some kind of a halfway security with no rent to pay, food supplied, no cleaning, no laundry, no nothing, And if you could just stick it out, it was great, because at the end of it, with the prize money and the money we earned during the time we were on the floor dancing as performer contestants, it could sometimes come to $3,000-$4,000 in 3 or 4 months, which now sounds like peanuts, but in those days,
Well, anybody that's seen They Shoot Horses, don't they, remembers that dance marathon in there, and you were just drained by the time you watched the movie.
Yeah, it was exact, too. She did a heck of a job, June did.
June, who was that now?
Havoc.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she wrote the book.
Uh-huh. I'd forgotten about that, but those...
Contestant, too. I was never in one with her.
Did you ever get the feeling, though, that you were just kind of, I don't want to say just a piece of meat for people to stare at?
Yes, I mean, that's what, you tried not to look at it like that, but if you were realistic enough to think about it, you realized that, you were a favorite one night and a villain the next if you were trying to put down one of the favorites of the locals,
Mm-hmm. How many weeks did you sleep when that was over?
Actually, we slept a lot, which people don't realize, because a lot of times we would be... Hang on just a second, will you, Ken?
Sure. We're talking with Frankie Laine. It's 15 minutes after 1 o'clock, and we'll be back after a commercial. We're back. We're talking with Frankie Laine this morning, and Frankie's in Chicago entertaining with Patty Page. I forgot what we were talking about. We were talking about the dance marathons.
About the amount of sleep we used to get, and a lot of times, that's my dog barking in the background there, and a lot of times, your partner would carry you for what used to be like our sleeping time, which would be sometimes 3 hours. And when I say carry, I mean that literally in some instances, because some contestants were what we'd call lugs. They actually had to be dragged along, and others could stand and sleep. And I happen to be one of those.
So you slept while you were on your feet?
Yeah, and your partner just kind of guides you,
Mm-hmm. We were talking about feeling like a piece of meat. I don't suppose you've ever felt that way when you were singing, did you?
No.
It's an entirely different sensation.
Yeah, you can say that again.
What do you most enjoy about show business? It's a rough business. We keep hearing about that, and it's especially tough for people trying to break in nowadays. But I don't imagine it was much easier when Frankie Laine got his start, was it?
Well, in respect to competition, there were a lot fewer record companies. There were certainly a lot fewer performers and singers. And with the proliferation of the group thing in rock and roll, which kind of spurted all the young people into aspiring performers, it really multiplied. And today, I think it's just that much harder to really break through.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there are a lot more people buying records now, and that helps.
When you went into the business, though, you were never ashamed to say, well, I'm a singer. If somebody said, what do you do for an occupation?
Heck, I used to say that all the time in hopes that somebody would say, okay, sing. I'll hire you.
Okay. Nowadays, you say, what do you do for a living? And you say, a radio announcer. That either starts a conversation that continues forever, or somebody will say, oh, and then they'll walk away.
Yeah.
So every job has its, I suppose, advantages or disadvantages.
Yeah, that's true.
What is your, well, this is probably a dumb question, Frankie, but what is your favorite kind of music today? Is it the kind of things you sing, or...
I like the contemporary stuff more now than the kind of stuff I was involved with and in most of my life. I think the new rhythms and the moving and exciting backgrounds that are possible with the contemporary feel, and the kind of stuff that seems to be country flavored. And I don't mean the old hokey country, although some of those songs were great, you know. Like one of Hank Williams' songs is one of the biggest songs we've ever had, Cheating Heart.
Sure.
But I'm talking about the Chris Christopherson stuff. I'm not talking about the stuff Willie Nelson sings, because he's real country, but he's not contemporary, in my mind. Although he just did a Chris Christopherson album, I don't think he captures that flavor, if you know what I mean.
You know, it's really hard, unless you start playing some of the older records again, it's really hard to see what influence country has had on music, because it has affected it an awful lot these days.
Yeah, there's been, what I started to say was there's been a big crossover. I mean, rhythm and blues went into the pop vein, country crossed over into contemporary got into both charts, you might say, and now they've even got like 4 charts. They've got the pop contemporary, they got the middle of the road, they got rhythm and blues, or soul as they call it, and they got country. So, and sometimes a hit in one area will cross over into the pop field. Very seldom does a country contemporary cross over into middle of the road, and hardly ever crosses over into rhythm and blues.
I don't remember, Frankie, but where did Mule Train and High Noon appear on the charts? Were they country charts?
Well, in those days, they didn't have that kind of... there was a country chart of sorts. There was a rhythm and blues chart. But anybody... It was almost dictated by the kind of a singer who did the song and what area he was supposed to be in. In other words, I was a pop singer. So even though I came out with Mule Train, which was a country song, it didn't get anywhere in the country field. It stayed in the pop charts.
I see. And people like...
Very, very funny mixed up. It's almost song for song, singer for singer.
And even a song like Walking the Floor Over You that Ernest Tubb wrote was considered country, and he never really made it into the other area.
The other charts.
Yeah. The reason I mentioned Ernest Tubb, I just had a chance to visit with him. We were down in Nashville last week on vacation.
Yeah.
First time I'd ever gone down there, and it's interesting. So many people are recording in Nashville now.
Yeah. I'm going in July. I'm doing an album for Kmart.
For Kmart?
Yeah.
On their label or something?
Well, I guess they have a label of sorts. They want me to re-record 10 of the old biggest hits that we ever had for their TV series, for TV sales.
I see. And
yes, it won't be available any other way, you know.
You were doing your last time we talked. You were doing your own recording on your own label, I think, weren't you, or a different label?
I started out to see if we could buck the field, but it was just too much. It would have cost a fortune to get into it, so I just dropped it because at that particular time we got an offer from Polydor in England to make 2 albums over there, so I just put that on the back burner, which is where it still is.
I wonder if you'd do some reminiscing for us. You sang theme songs for a number of movies and television shows, didn't you?
Yeah.
What were some of the shows you sang the theme for?
Well, I think the first movie was Blowin' Wild, The Legend of Black Gold.
Okay.
And then after that came Strange Lady in Town, Bullwhip, Man and a Star, Man Without a Star.
I'm sure a lot of people are going...
We wound up doing Rawhide.
That's the big one I remember.
Yeah, and we did Gunslinger. We did Gunfight at OK Corral, 310 to Yuma. Meet Me in Las Vegas. Quite a few.
Mm-hmm. The
Now we have one going called Lobo, Sheriff Lobo.
Oh, and you sing the theme for that?
Yeah.
I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah.
How is that thing doing on the charts, or on the ratings?
Fine. I mean, the show is supposed to be a hit. I mean, it's pretty hokey approach, you know, to TV fare, but apparently they're doing well with it.
That's another role that's different for Claude Akins, too.
Yeah. I'm glad for him, you know, that it's a success.
Yeah, I had a chance to visit with him one time, too. He's just a nice guy, but he's always played all those heavies in those old westerns.
Yeah. That's where I met him for the first time in Nashville.
Really?
We both were in that golf tournament a couple of years ago.
Uh-huh.
They have it every year, you know, this country golf tournament.
I know you like to play golf. You like to boat, too, don't you?
Fish, yeah.
Fish?
Yeah.
You have your own yacht?
Yeah.
Forgot what that's called, but...
That's my desire.
All right, in fact, your boat was pictured on one of your albums, I think.
Yeah.
Not all that long ago. Frankie Laine, it's great visiting with you, and I know the folks who are real Frankie Laine fans are going to want to go up to Chicago before much longer, because Saturday's the last night.
Yeah.
For this go-round, anyway.
Well, yeah, we'll be back next year, I guess.
It has to be fun working with Patty Page, too, doesn't it?
Yeah. We don't see too much of each other. I mean, she goes on, and gets off, and I go on, and that's it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you don't really sing together on the stage,
No.
then, but you talk about a double bill, that's a great one.
Yeah.
Frankie Laine, all the best to you. It's a great pleasure talking with you again, and
Good talking to you again.
I hope we get to talk
Right.
some more sometime. Thank you.
Bye.